This knife here is my Spyderco Para 3 with the custom pocket clip and custom scale inside. It's one of my favorite EDC knives. I absolutely love carrying this thing around. And I recently set it down on this here workbench, open just like this. Don't lie, you've done it before. And then somehow managed to brush it and sweep it to the ground, meaning I got a nice little ding in the edge. I'll show you guys a close-up. Oh man, yeah, it's bad, and it's really hampering a lot of the cutting that I want to do with this knife. So it's not something I can easily fix on a system like the Spyderco Triangle Sharp Maker. It would take ages to fix that on this thing, even with the most coarse rods. Now I could definitely put it on this thing, the Worksharp Knife and Tool Sharpener, which will blaze through that. I'm also afraid that it will round off the tip of my blade, and it's done that to knives before, and I don't want that to happen to this one. So I was interested in getting a new sharpener. Fortunately, my friend Mike over at Vipersharp invited me to try out his system and see how it works. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to put this Spyderco Para 3 on the Vipersharp, run it through a few different grits of diamond, and kind of show you how the system works while also trying to repair this edge. Hope you guys like the video. Stick around. All right, so we're going to show you how this system works and see if we can fix this knife. But first, I'm going to give you a little bit of a rundown on the whole system and also talk to you about the Kickstarter that is being launched really soon for Vipersharp. That's something that Mike has been mentioning to me, and I wanted to make sure you guys know about it because it's a great way to get into this system for a lot less money and with some of the new improvements that he's made to the system. So you'll be very interested in that. I'll have a link down below if you're seeing this video in the future, and I'll also, and if it's not posted yet, then I'll obviously let you know the date when it's coming out. But again, we're going to get to this knife. First, let's show you some of the things that come with it. This is basically the, soup to nuts system that Mike has set me up with here to test out. So everything I'm showing you right here may or may not come with the system you buy, but all the pieces here are things that Vipersharp makes and that are available depending on which system you pick up. So going through these things one by one, there's a little oil bottle, we've got the extra clamp here, and then we've got a lapping stone, which that's what all these little things here are. And these are little strips that you would basically just stick to that lapping stone. 3 micron, 9 micron, down to 1 micron, ultra fine for getting that mirror polish on your blade edge. A couple extra pieces of hardware there. So we'll set that stuff aside as well as the oil bottle. This does not come with it. You're just gonna have to supply your own Sharpie, and this is basically your rudimentary angle finder. You can use like your cell phone or something like that, your smartphone, with some sort of an angle app on it to determine what the angle is that you're setting your blade in there for, or setting for your blade as you're sharpening it. But you can also go the old-fashioned way, just Sharpie the edge, which is what I've done to mine. Not sure if you can see that there, but I've gone ahead and already Sharpied that edge, which is going to help me as I begin to file away at that. It's going to help me determine if I'm at the right angle and I can adjust. So Sharpie, just get yourself one or grab one from the drawer. So yeah, lapping stone, there's a strop. You can use that as well. Put some compound on there to get yourself a nice fine, whatever grit level you want. Then let's go through the stones that we have here. And we've got diamond as well as ceramic stones. So diamond starts at 250. So as far as I know, that's as low as the diamond goes, but it's pretty aggressive. There's diamond 250, diamond 400, diamond 600, diamond 1200. You really can't see the grit from camera, but that's what they are. Diamond 8, or sorry, this is not diamond. This is the ceramic, and it goes all the way down to 80. So that is nice and abrasive, basically a sandpaper. Really, really nice. And then 220. Then we've got 400 grit, 600, and then lastly 12. And if you decide to go, you can go either or, ceramic or diamond, or you can certainly just kind of go with all of them. It's kind of up to you depending on what system you want to buy, but you can get all of it or you can get diamond or ceramic. Now, ceramic stones, they will wear down over time, and that's one thing you'll notice as you kind of sharpen with the ceramic. You'll see little bits of ceramic dust coming off periodically, and it's sort of like sandpaper wearing out, sort of the same concept. So you'll need to eventually replace your ceramic stones, and that's just going to be a fact. But when it comes to the diamond, you basically just clean off the stones and keep using them. It's diamond. It's always going to be harder than the knife steel. So diamond will last a very, very long time, if not forever. And that's basically the stones. This case here is just a simple little gun case that, that Mike has provided for users, people who buy the set. And that's it. So what we're going to do is go ahead and start with Diamond 250. Now, I love the way these stones work. And this is one of the things about the system that's fantastic. As you can see here, there's like a little clip on the back, grabs it in, and then you clip it here in the front, and that's it. That's how you put the stones on, really easy. And you got this little ball on here that just kind of screws down. You can use that, or you can hold the sort of the lip of the stone and use that to do your grinding. So we're going to set that aside and show you how the knife, the clamped knife, already pre-clamped, I did that off camera, how this goes in. You just slide it in like so, and then you screw this little thing down. See that? That's it. And that kind of holds it in place. It's got a little bit of play in it, but gravity will hold it down, so you shouldn't be too worried about that. Also, you can sort of rearrange the way you've clamped this to put this edge a little more towards the front of the clamp. That's really more ideal. So the way I'm doing it is a little less ideal today, but that's because of the type of knife that I'm doing and the way that I'm trying to clamp it. I'm trying to get it on the flat, which there isn't very much flat on this Para 3. So I'm trying to use what flat there is to clamp it in place and try to maintain my angle. But a cool thing about these clamps, guys, is that you can unscrew that, push it out. Now you're doing the opposite side. So there's no unclamping it, clamping it back down, trying to make sure your position is the same. Now you just unscrew the clamp retainer, swap it upside down, and that's it. So nice. Very clever system right there. We've got a little tool holder on the side here. I think you can see that. And those are the Allen wrenches. That's the Allen wrench you'll need to undo the clamp. And again, you can get a spare clamp for really, really large blades. So if this blade was like really huge, I might have a second clamp and hold that there, then use the stone and do a certain portion of the blade, then unclamp it and then shift it down and then do the next portion of the blade. Really good for machetes or really long hunting, camping knives, things like that. All right, guys, so basically what we're gonna do right now is you're just gonna join me for the experience of fixing up this knife and seeing how this repair job goes. It may take a little while for me to get my angle, may not. If I need to, I'll speed up the camera, but let's take that 250 grit right now, I think it's 250, and let's go ahead and start working on this blade, see what we get. Now, it seems like we've largely guessed the angle correctly because it is removing the marker. While I've got you, let me mention something else. These are the rod stops, and these things are great because this allows you to not slide this past the edge of the blade and end up, damaging it. So I can bring this down a little bit more than I am right now, out to here, I think. Yeah, that's safe. So we can come all the way down to there and all the way up to there. And that's a good range of motion for this knife. And we can continue this motion for as long as we want, and we don't have to worry about it accidentally slipping past that or accidentally kind of coming out here. What I haven't done is gone ahead and put some oil on this, so we're gonna do that. Just a little bit on there, just enough. How many passes are we gonna do on each side? Really kind of up to you, whatever feels right based on what you're trying to accomplish. So right now, I'm just trying to make sure that I'm getting rid of all of that marker line first. And when I've done that, I'll flip it over and then work the opposite side a while. And then probably once I've got all the marker lines gone and I feel like I've corrected that little damaged edge, at that point, I'll move up to a finer grit, and then I'll start counting my strokes, whatever you want to call it. All right, I actually feel like I'm ready to flip this over, so let's go ahead and do that. Got some of that oil bleeding through to the other side, which is no problem at all. And I feel like my marker line is coming off all across the edge at this point, but we'll check that in detail here in a little bit. Now you can see that I'm not focusing just on the damaged portion of the blade. I'm basically giving the entire thing a reprofiling. My strategy here is to just create basically a brand new edge on this thing all across the length of the blade. And that, to me, is going to be more effective, more efficient in the long run, more durable long term than just trying to focus on that damaged area and leaving most of the rest of the edge alone. I wouldn't try doing it that way. Now, this fingernail test I'm doing right here is something probably other guys do, I don't know, but this is something I figured out many years ago, that you run your fingernail down the back of the edge like so, not with any amount of pressure, just enough that your fingernail can sort of sense the micro serrations in the edge. You will immediately feel any nicks that happen to be there. And I can feel that those nicks are still there. So we've got a good amount of work left to do. So we'll get it back on. What I'm actually going to do for economy of time is I'm going to start doing not just front to back passes, but also kind of circular passes as well, because that's going to help me remove a lot more material a lot faster. And in the situation where I've actually got an edge that needs repair, that's kind of the way you want to do it. Couple words about the construction while I'm doing this. The clamp here and the whole housing, that's all made of aluminum. Then the base that you see right here, it's a nice heavy base. It supports the system very well. Now I haven't put any really large knives on it at this point, so I don't know if I'm going to risk tipping it over if I do, but I don't think that'll be an issue. And also, if it is, you can always sort of support this base with something even heavier. Not a big deal. It all comes apart and ships flat, and then you can kind of assemble it at home, set and put it away flat, depending on how much space you have. If you need to conserve space, you can certainly take the whole thing apart and put it away flat again. So it's fairly space-saving design. I wouldn't compare it to the Spyderco Sharp Maker, which is a much smaller package once it's all taken down, but pretty good, especially considering everything it can do. We're making progress, but we're still not there. And yes, by doing that circular motion, you will develop a burr on the opposite side. That's just a natural part of that sharpening method. That's not a problem, having a burr. That just indicates to you that you're making progress on the opposite side. We've made a lot of progress. We might be done. We'll flip it over one more time, but I think that might be the end. We're good to move to a thinner grit. Let's do that. Remember, it's really easy to swap out the different stones on this kit. All you do is unclip this thing like that. I'm going to go ahead and wipe it off. More dab at it than wipe it. Put it away and grab the 400. And that's it, man. And we'll just clip the 400 in, and we're ready to start working with that guy. Get a little bit of oil on it. That'll do. And we'll just check this blade one more time, because I'm 99% positive that I got that burr and it is gone. And I will look at this up close, but I'm going to tell you guys, I'm pretty sure we got it. I cannot feel it, and I'm not seeing it either. So I'm going to say we got it. Which means time to run that 400 and work our way up to 12. And we're definitely removing material there, so we're going to go ahead and break off the 400 and jump to the 6. That edge is looking better and better. I'm going to go ahead and get the 1200 on there. I think we're about good. I mean, that feels like a really nice edge. We can do a little better with it. This is the 3-micron film I'm going to put on the lapping stone. Just going to see how this does. I've yet to use one of these. I think that's good enough. Oh yeah, we're shaving hairs easily getting his hairs shaved off my hand. Nice. Cool, man. That knife is back. Love it. All right, guys, that is it. My Paramilitary 3, or Para 3 as they call it, has been restored. I try not to cut myself as I unclamp it from the clamp. This is one of my favorite knives. Real nice to see it restored properly. Did not want to risk losing that tip, didn't want to reprofile it in a strange way, and honestly, I didn't really want to convex it either, and those would have potentially been big risks had I put it on the Work Sharp. Now again, if I had tried to just put it on the Spyderco Sharp Maker and just tried to use that, man, it would have taken a long time. So this has been, I would say 45 minutes that I've been working since I set up. And I think that's pretty reasonable to get this kind of an edge back after that kind of damage. Whatever it is you're trying to do with this sharpening system, you've got it covered. Vipersharp is definitely a good system to go with. And if you decide to get in on that Kickstarter, dudes, definitely do that, because you're going to be getting this system with whatever variety of stones and variety of accessories you choose. You're going to be getting it for far less than you would normally pay. So I would wholeheartedly recommend that you get in on that Kickstarter if you've ever been interested in a system like this. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Thanks to Mike over at Vipersharp for setting me up with this system to test and kind of reference throughout the future. I'm Late Boy Scout. I really appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next time.